Hello. Hope everybody's doing good today. I am going live because I'm going to be working on I have picked up some plums from where I grew up along the side of the road, and I'm going to try to propagate them. So that's my plan today. So give me just 1 second and I will get that started. There we go. Oops. Okay. Okay, so like I said, when I was little, I grew up in a very rural area of Georgia, and we had these plum trees that would grow up along the sides of the dirt roads down there, and I really loved those plums. Every summer, I would get up and, coming about this time of year, so right about now, this is when they start coming in, and the fruit start coming in, and so every summer about this time, school would be let out, and I would get a grocery store bag and go find a place off the side of the road, side of the dirt road where these were growing up. And me and my mom and my aunt and friends and stuff, we would all just pick these plums and we fill up these grocery bags and just eat on these tiny little plums for, days and days. And then as they started growing up and building out in the area where I grew up in, when they paved the roads out there, I guess they also started spraying for these, trees and shrubs and everything on the side of the road. So they started disappearing. But I located some. I had someone send me a little bit of a map that I had to figure out. And then I got out there. It was in the middle of nowhere on the side of a road in a thicket. I found some. I had gotten out there. So the person that found it, they found it the day before and sent me the map. And then I went out there the next day and someone had already come through and mowed down like a large chunk of this thicket. So I only had a little bit left. I didn't hardly get any plums. I had maybe five or six total that I was able to get. But so the seed propagation or seed germination may be possible, but we'll see. That's not very much to work with. But I did get plenty of cuttings, so I'm going to see if we can propagate those. So that's my plan. Funnily enough, I was only out there for about maybe 10-15 minutes before someone actually showed up to ask me what I was doing, I guess. You gotta be ready for that if you're gonna be going off on the side of the road and stopping and doing this kind of stuff. Is people are gonna want to know what you're doing sometimes. But he was a wonderful older gentleman who talked to me about plums and all the little Johnny berry trees and stuff like that grew up out there, and then went into how there's going to be water wars and stuff, so that was interesting. Anywho, fun interaction. So for propagation, what I'm going to do is sand is what I'm using. I'm just using regular play sand. I picked some up at Ace Hardware earlier because I just did not have any. So I'm going to be using play sand. I've already trimmed up these. I did these on the side of the road yesterday, just on the way back. I have them wrapped up in some damp paper towel, just to keep their tips nice and moist. And I'm going to get them into here, label this. I also have some cuttings from an apple tree that I put in the other day, so I'm going to do those. I also have some other cuttings that I have not prepared yet. Oops. These have not been cleaned up like the first set I showed, so I'm going to do those too. I have another bucket for that. inside these buckets, like I said, it's just sand. It's just so the roots have a nice free medium to grow out into, and we'll go into how that works in a minute. But just to stop the sand from running out, because sand, unlike dirt, sand will run out of these holes a lot faster. So I just put in a little bit of cardboard, poke some holes in there, and then line the side with some paper bag. And now I'm going to fill this up, try and get as much sand as I can from slipping out. So let me get some sand in here and we'll get started. Whoa. Here's some more sand. Go back to him. Alright. Okay. Oh. That's good. We got that one good. Alright. So, again, these are called Chickasaw Plum Trees. I've heard them called Sand Plum Trees or Sandy Plum Trees, Beach Plums. I've heard a couple of different phrases for them. Some people call them wild plums. I call them wild plums sometimes, although that's a misnomer. These were cultivated by the indigenous peoples for thousands of years before we ever got to them. So they are a known plant down here, or were anyway, to the Native Americans. They used to grow them in thickets, so if you ever find a thicket of them, it's like really nice. Anyway, they grow up to about these between 6 to 7 foot tall bushes, shrubs. They form thickets if you let them. Some people don't like thickets. I think they're great, and they're really good for your native habitat. So, okay, so for propagation, what we're going to try to do is get roots to grow out of leaf nodes. So this is about the same for every plant. So I gathered these yesterday. I'm going to retrim the cuttings, just the tips, to make sure that it's fresh when we put it in the sand here. But I just wrapped it up in a moist paper towel and kept it in some plastic wrap while I brought these home. Okay, so just basically kind of go over this. In order to propagate, each leaf node, which is these little nodes where leaves grow out of, as you can see here, when it's damaged, it gets a hormone sent to it, and that hormone can either be told to repair the damage and try to grow a new leaf, or it's the same hormone with a different signal can be told to grow out roots, right? Since hormones are just instructions. So we're going to attempt to get it to send out roots. That's kind of the basic idea. So I'm going to clean up this little tip here. I'm going to cut it again at an angle, and then I'm going to dip it into this rooting powder. It's called Take Root, and I'm going to pop it into here, and we're going to cover as many of these leaf nodes as we can in the soil in the dark, and hopefully it will send out roots. That's basically how propagation works. So I'm going to try and get as many of these nodes, like I said, as I can in the ground here. So let me recut this at a different point because I just want it to be a fresh cut. I got a little green on there, if you can see that. Let's go back some. There we go. Oh, back up. Looking at two things at once, sorry. There we go. Anyway, so now we got that trimmed up. I'm going to pull off this other leaf. I don't want it to, so leaf is where moisture escapes from, and we don't want moisture escaping as much as possible. So I'm going to pull off some of these leaves. And only leave, you know, anything that looks healthy as much as I can. Yeah, that works. So I'm going to dip this into my rooting powder. Swirl it around, get it on as many of those leaf nodes as we can. And then I'm going to pop it into the sand here. So I'm going to use this tool to just make a little hole because I don't want it to compact around and knock off all that rooting powder. I'm going to push it down. That's probably good. Get majority of those nodes covered up. I'll leave. There we go. That much. That works for me. Okay. What's the next one? This one I gotta clean up some more. I think I'm just gonna pick an end here. We'll take off that. Remove some of these leaves that look damaged and old. Actually, we'll just take off that right there. I'm just gonna go with that. Alright, cool. I'm gonna retrim up this tip because if you can't tell, it's a little brown. I don't like it. I don't like it, so I want it to do a little better for me. There we go. That's a nice green color now. We'll get this into the rooting powder and into here. Get as many of those leaf nodes covered as we can. And I pulled off all the leaves except for the top bits that I want, just so they can photosynthesize. Let's redo that. I need that to go down in a little further. Sometimes sand can be a pain in my butt. You know what? Whenever I have this issue, I'm just going to go ahead and wet it down so that I don't want to fight with it that much. So let's wet this down. Give me 1 second. And I can just poke my holes and slide them down in there. Oh, much easier. Good red thunder break. It's Aldi's version of Red Bull. It's really good. Alright. I put my sand in so I have an easier time poking a hole in it to put these cuttings down in there. Because it can be a pain in the butt. And I am putting in as many of these leaf nodes as I can, because that is where we could get some growth from. So see how I'm able to poke a hole just like that now? That's what I wanted. That pot's gonna weigh 80 pounds. Yeah, it sure is. That slides down in there quite a bit easier. And hopefully we'll get some rootage off of that. Let's redo this little guy. Oh, that's a weird looking spider on that cutting. Check this out. Will you get out of here? Go on. Get on. Yeah. Why is he? That's a great question. He blended right in, so I mean, he rode with me the whole way back. And now he lives in the garden, I guess. Okay. This one's already cut up pretty good. Just gonna pull off some of that extra stuff. Then I'm gonna retrim up the tip, because we want the tip to be nice and, as you can tell, this one is brown, so it's kind of browned up since I cut it yesterday. I'm going to trim it so that the tip is nice and green. That's what you want. Okay, so that's what I'm going for. Much better. So we're going to dip it into the rooting powder. Swirl it around, get as many of those leaf nodes covered as we can, because leaf nodes are where we can get new roots from cuttings. Make me a little hole in here, hopefully wide enough for the branch. Slide that guy down in there. Remembering to get as many of the leaf nodes as we can in the pot, because that is where we have the chance of getting roots. Or under the sand, sorry, in the pot, under the sand, whatever. I'm going to pull off a couple of these leaves. I'm just not too interested in leaving a bunch of diseased or broken leaves on here. I'm like, okay, so again, this tip has gone a little brown, so I'm going to trim it up, try and get that green or cadmium green back. So I'm going just under. This is cut really close to this leaf node, and I don't, well, I can try. Let's see. Nah. Okay, so I'm going to go up to the very next leaf node and cut right under that at an angle. There we go. Hello. So now we have a nice, like, light green tip. And then we're going to dip this into the rooting hormone powder. Try and get as many of these leaf nodes covered in it as we can. And now it goes into the pot. Yeah. Are you saying, what, NYA? Yeah. 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 Alright, yeah. Whatever. Yeah, see, yeah. Alright. So I made a little hole. We're gonna slide this in. All but our top couple of little nodes there covered. Good, good, good. To the next. It's a tiny little branch. We'll trim it up just like the others. Come at an angle, get that green. I'm going to take off the leaves that I don't really like. Let's see. Is there even one that I want to keep? Yeah. I've had success with leaving leaves on. I've had a little bit of success taking them all off. It's hit or miss. But anyway, I'll leave a couple. I'm going to take the big ones off because I just feel like they're going to lose too much moisture. I'm going to dip this into the rooting powder. And into the sand they go. Okay. So let's see. So Chickasaw Plum, Cherokee Plum, Florida Sand Plum, Sandhill Plum, or Sand Plum. These are all the same things. It is a Prunus Angustifolia. So Prunus is for stone fruit. So it has a stone pit in the center. Prunus is a stone fruit. You got that for cherries, nectarines, plums. Okay. So it is native to North America and was originally cultivated by Native Americans before the arrival of Europeans. The Angustifolia, part of its name, refers to its narrow leaves. I did not know that. It also became the state fruit of Kansas in 2022. Wow, that's awesome. I did not know that at all. That's cool. But I used to pick these along the side of the road when I was little, or even when I was in high school. Oh, it's got a little nest in here. Ew. It had a little spider. I read the part about Angustifolia. Prunus stone fruit is what I mean. I know that. Is my phone ringing? Hang on one second. Oh. I'll call you back. The Kansas part I didn't know. That's really cool. I knew it was native to North America. I call it, a lot of people call these wild plums, but that's a misnomer because it was cultivated by the Native Americans. When do you teach us how to grow weed? All of the techniques that I am going through are applicable to most, majority of plants that you can cultivate at home. So we'll just leave that as a little tip. This is called cloning. I call it propagation. In the gardening world, you call it propagation. In your world, you call it cloning. Winky face. Wink, wink. Yeah. We're just having a little fun. So, let me trim this up. This tip, again, is gone a little brown since yesterday. So I'm going to... So, it's illegal. What's illegal? I'm propagating. I don't know what you're talking about. So, and no. Tell me you have the neck fan. I have one. I'm not wearing it right now. I have one, though. So anyway, I'm going to trim up to expose the green cadmium layer once more. So I'm just going to go up to the very next leaf node. So again, leaf node is where you can have a chance of getting roots from. So where the leaf grows out, hopefully not. So where the leaf grows out is where you have a chance of getting either another leaf or roots, depending on the situation, depending on really what the hormone tells it to do when it gets down there. So it looks at the situation around it and determines whether or not to grow or what to grow next. So we're going to trim it up at the next leaf node here. I like to do it at an angle. You can do it however you like. And now you see the green cadmium layer is exposed. So I pulled off all the leaves up into the very end here. And I'm only going to leave a couple of these on because you really don't want to leave too many on. Leaves are where you're going to lose your moisture out of your plant cutting. And I only want to leave a couple of leaves up because I want to lose as little moisture as possible. I want it to focus entirely on rooting. So now I'm going to dip this into my rooting powder. It's called Take Root. You can get it at Lowe's or anywhere else. And I just kind of mix it around in there just to give the bottom couple of nodes an extra chance to grow. I'm going to bury this in the sand as far as I can. Cover as many nodes as I can so that, I'm actually going to pinch these off a little bit, so that they will try, more of a chance of rooting, basically. The more nodes that are in the sand, the more of a chance of rooting you get. So I make myself a little hole in my sand here, and again, this is just play sand. Oh gosh, don't want to leaf too many on. You're correct. Wowee. Oh my gosh, I didn't tell you, on my way back from going to get these yesterday, I saw a really good joke. It was on the side of a business called Atlanta Sand. This is really funny. Anyway, coincidental. But it said, we can't believe it's spring. Or can you believe it's spring? It was pretty good. Alright. Next. Okay, this one has a nice brown. So we're going to clean that up. Go into the next leaf node. Put that on there. Hitting it with the rooting powder. I don't know why I put my chair behind me. I never wound up sitting down. Kind of as many nodes as we can into the ground. At your old age, you gotta watch out. I heard at your old age you were going bonkers at a party, so You're right, I certainly can't. Maybe Anor could, or anybody else there, but I can't. You're right about that. Apparently, Nico can. Oh, man. Wow. You better do some good favors for him. Oh, man. Oh, Jesus. Whoa, that went flying. Oh, boy. Oh, Grim. You're so screwed. You better start asking for them favors that he needs. You need to cut his lawn. Run some errands. He needs a massage. That's what I think. He needs a massage. That's what he needs. Once every 2 weeks. There you go. Start a lawn care business. That could be your side gig. How about this? So my best friend is Puerto Rican, and she was looking at going down to Puerto Rico, right? And the only way that she can really go, you can hop on a cruise that goes down there and get off, but you have to pay the full cruise price. You can fly down there, but there's no just regular boats that just kind of go back and forth taking people. Oh, that's fun. I've never been on one. I have a funny story about cruises, but I've never been on one. Is my phone going off? Hang on. Sorry. I think it might be my friend who I was just talking about. Yeah. Sorry. Yep. Oh, well, my story's kind of, I don't know. Take it however you want. My ex-husband went on a cruise with his family and his friend, his best friend, because I couldn't go. I was busy. Could not go. I was in school. And I don't know what happened on the cruise, but I know that he came back with a $2,000 necklace for me. Anyway. That's my story about a cruise. I almost got to go, and then I couldn't. And then I got a necklace out of it, though. I don't know. Yeah. That was a heavy one. Yeah, sorry, if my phone goes off, it will vibrate a little bit. Right in there. Yes, ma'am. Okay. I'll take off some of these leaves. I just feel like that's too many. Really going to struggle to keep all that alive, so cool. So these are all Chickasaw Plum trees, which is apparently the state fruit of Kansas now. That was named that in 2022. I just found that out. Its scientific name is Prunus Angustifolia. Yeah, it was really recent. That's funny. It's probably because they're kind of getting wiped out as these counties, at least around here. I don't know about where y'all are, but out here, even in rural areas, we have trimmers that come out, and they not only do they cut back all of the brush that grows up around the side of the road, but they also spray now. They're spraying herbicides out there, so they're really killing it off out here really heavily. So I was really lucky to get a hold of what I could, because I used to see them everywhere, and this is the first one that I've seen with fruit in like 3 years. And I didn't even find it, someone else did and had to tell me about it. And then I had to go like hunt it down. And even in the single day it took me to get, like, I went out, as soon as I heard about it, I went out, because I've been trying to find them. And I've been trying to order them online, but I have one that was supposed to be one that's growing up. It is definitely not one. That's the trouble with sometimes getting plants online, is that sometimes they'll say what they are. And, oh, that's funny. Sometimes online they'll say that the plant is one thing, and you go to plant the tree and it takes it 2 or 3 years, and then you're like, oh, whoops, that wasn't that tree. So, anyway. But, so they named it that in 2022. Oh, Prunus Angustifolia. I don't know. If you wasn't here earlier, Prunus just means stone fruit. It's part of the stone fruit family. So the pit, the center, you know, is a stone fruit. So is cherry. So is nectarine. Anything that has a stone center is generally part of the Prunus family. Angustifolia refers to its like long, slender leaves. I can actually give you a comparison to show it to you, a different one. Hang on. I got a couple of plum trees. I didn't even think about that. I can show you a couple of different ones to compare the leafage here. Hang on. Let me get this in here. I'll be be right back. Busted my face. Holy hell. Okay. Okay, so these are all of these are full-grown prunus leaves, or mature prunus leaves. So Angustifolia refers to its long, slender style compared to other plum trees. This is the Chickasaw Plum, or Prunus Angustifolia. This is I believe it's called a Prunus silencia, or a Japanese plum that I have growing out there. And then this is Prunus mexicana, or a Mexican plum. So anyway, neat things. Have all those plums in my yard. Alright, moving on. Let's finish this up. So I'm going to continue on, trimming this up. Just shoots off. I really like, this is a really nice cutting. This looks really good. I'm going to remove this larger leaf and just leave these two baby leaves. I just finished watching White Lotus, which is not an anime, but it was really good all the same. It's got 3 seasons. And Lazarus Effect is coming out too. I think it's on HBO. Whoa. Man. I did not grow up in neighborhoods, and every time it freaks me out when I hear people clanking and banking around out there. Oh, I'm gonna go up a little further on that one. Yeah. Yeah, Lazarus Effect, that's the Cowboy Bebop, or creator Cowboy Bebop, who created it. the same world. God, I don't know what I'm trying to say. The creator made them. It's the same world. I didn't want to watch it until it was done because I don't like getting into shows and then having to wait on episodes to go up. I find that very frustrating. I really like binging if I'm going to sit down and watch something. So we'll have to make sure it's done before we start it, that's all. That shot off. Y'all hear these birds? They just keep on going. Oh man, why am I getting so many messages right now? I feel like Grim. I'm just so popular today. Hey Sarah. Sarah made it to Tampa. Call Elizabeth. Okay. Yeah, okay. Listen, this you can't be the best and also not the best. You're very popular, Grim. You were the life of the party. Nico knows so. Right. Yeah. That was not Grim. See? See what I mean? How can I stop? So much encouragement. He comes out to play every now and then. That's funny. You know, as soon as you got off Discord last night, Grim, I think Aluminum was asking why you never talk in Raid. He's been talking, I guess. Yeah, I was asking last night because I was like, doesn't he never talk too? And Nate was saying, like, I guess he joined the guild and found a microphone. I don't know. But he was talking to us all last night. He was running keys and everything. It was a whole... Damn, wait, let's go in. It was a whole thing. That's good. That's the best kind of parties. Oh, at the wedding? Yes. Everybody should have one. He feels included. Yeah, well, I don't know. Maybe he does. Maybe he does. Oh my gosh. That's a big cutting. This is a thick boy. There we go. Okay. Yeah. He should have been in a while ago, but I don't think he knew that it was cross-faction or whatever. I guess he didn't know. I don't know. Actually, I can probably, yeah, let me just go ahead and. I think we just didn't. Grimm's kicking people out of groups? Yeah. Well, Grimm only likes to play with who he wants to play with. I'm just saying shit. I don't mean anything. Yeah. Well, even with all the cross-faction everything now, I still, like, I can't send my alts on Dalaran work orders from my characters on, whatever fucking server I'm on now. Like, it won't let me, like, the server cluster, it just doesn't like it. Chart is not the worst. Chart is great. Chart is such a team player when he's not fucking Aspergering out. He's so great. So mean. Oh, that's funny. Poor Chart. Okay, I gotta label that, or I'm gonna forget which one is which. That's very good, Nico. Oh my gosh. Okay, so this is a Chickasaw Plum Tree. I hope I can read that later. Yes. There we go. Oh, you son of a bitch. I have to get, like, more plant name tag thingies. Those old plastic ones keep snapping. That's kind of what plastic does. Shucks. I don't know. You could probably not. What is it a little bit? So because I'm just looking to develop, I'll catch up you guys later, Nico. Because I'm just looking to develop some roots, I'm not adding any fertilizer or anything like that to this. This is literally just sand. I'm adding just water. I'm not going to be adding anything else to it. I don't have any roots. There's nothing to take up any fertilizer if you were to even add it in here. It's totally unnecessary until much later. You know, it's going to be a couple of weeks before these even have a root on them, so just keep that in mind when you're doing this. You don't want to, you don't have to, there's no reason to go all out. You're not doing anything. Okay, and moisture going through there for that one. Okay. Yeah, I would take a popsicle stick. Have some popsicle sticks. Hey! Thank you, Nate. Okay. Oh! I shouldn't have did that. Hang on 1 second. Where are the popsicles? Good question. Into the hormone powder. Hang that guy off the side. I keep accidentally going for the scissors, which are no help to me right now. Churd is invited to my garden. How about that? He can come into my garden and have a fudgesicle. I mean, he could, but I ate the last one, but I could get more. It's a possibility. That's all I'm saying. You gotta be nice to your Churdopedias. Your AI bots aren't everywhere, you know? Taking the large leaves off of here. I think anybody who can build a fence right now is invited to my garden. Although I have a fence. I don't need to build a fence. I just don't feel like going out in the sun to finish it. You just want to get as many leaf nodes as you can under the soil. That's where you get the root growth from, or chance for root growth. So the more nodes you have, the more chances you get it. Tap, 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 tap. That made it right into the compost bucket. That's funny. These are a little scraggly, but it's okay. They have a chance, and the more cuttings I have, the more chances I have of getting a root. And if I get a root, I can get some fruit. And if I get some fruit, I can get a thicket. I just did not, they had cut it down so fast. Oh, I think I just broke that. Okay, no, I'm good. They had cut it so fast from the time that I had gotten the message. I think I did break that though. I did. Okay, let me get that out. That's gonna be a waste. I can still salvage this. So I'm just gonna cut off the broken end and we'll work from there. That's fine. Okay. Tinier guy. That guy had a little bit of a bend on the back end, so had to. It's okay. Now I'm going to put on my fan because it's getting a little warm, and I now have to move on to working on the cuttings that I didn't do yesterday on the side of the road. I just felt like I was taking too long. I did not want that weird guy to come back and try and talk to me more, so kind of wrapped up what I was doing and got out of there, but now I have some more to trim up and get into here. So let's do that. So I did the same thing. I just kind of wrapped the end in damp paper towel and kept that in a plastic bag, and then I kept an ice pack in a cooler, and I kept all this kind of propped up in the cooler, and that's what's been maintaining them over the last day. You can also, if you have cuttings, you can keep them in the fridge. Just make sure you put them in an entire cover like this, so that you trap the moisture in. You definitely don't want them to dry out. That's going to lead to the death of them, but you want to go ahead and get your cuttings in something relatively quick. It doesn't have to be like lightning fast or anything, but relatively quick. Oh, this one still has a little fruit growing on it. That's funny. So that's what they kind of look like. When they're ripe, they're like bright red. They almost look like little cherries. It's neat. So anyway, let me get some of these cuttings going. Hopefully this fan isn't too loud, but it just got a little warm. We've been getting lots of rain, so the humidity is through the freaking roof. I don't know how well this is going to work. I just know that propagation is a possible option. So, trying my hand at it. I did not want to fully commit to getting out on the side of the road with a shovel at that point in time. Although, if this doesn't work, I would consider it. Legit. I will go back to that very same spot and find the mother tree that these were on, and I will bring it home if I have to. But hopefully this will work. It just should. I should get something. Off of all of these cuttings, one of them should give me something. That's at least the hope that I have. Powder, and then into the sand. And sand just tends to be a loose medium for those roots to grow out into. That's the reason for the sand. It also doesn't harbor a lot of bacteria that your garden soil and other soils do. That can kind of mess with cuttings, at least initially. So that's the reason for the sand. This is a big cutting. I can get a few cuttings off of this. This is a nice cutting, a nice branch that I got. So hopefully I'll be able to get a few cuttings off of this. But I'm going to save that until later because that's a really thick branch. And I don't know, I might need to do its own thing. Its own little container. Anyway, we'll figure it out. Some people will kind of scratch at the bottom of their cuttings where the rooting powder is going and expose a little more of that green layer, but I kind of go in between doing that and not doing that. I've heard that it can introduce more disease to your trees, your cuttings. I've heard that it can be good. It's all over the place. You do what you're comfortable with. I think that just having the green cut layer exposed is okay. At least I think so. I find that information in the gardening world is so all over the place that you kind of gotta feel it out and just test stuff for yourself, because there's no way of knowing, like, if this thing worked for this person, will it work for you? There's no way to know unless you try it, because it's so varied based on your microclimate, your climate, your area, your sun exposure, your sun pathing, your just all kinds of stuff. So hopefully this will work. In theory it should. If it does, though, oh my gosh, if these take, I would be the happiest, just the happiest little boogie bear in the world. Happiest garden druid, yeah. Little bear. Happiest little boogie bear garden druid that there ever was. Yep, that's me. I thought that the funniest thing is I was watching that video that Pro put up on the Discord yesterday, and it was like how you are in real life based on what class you pick or whatever. And it was saying that people who play Druid are like the furthest thing from a Druid in real life, and I was like, I don't know. I think you missed the mark, sir. He should have delved more into it. It's like, if you main a Druid who plays all specs, you know, I don't know. Anyway. This is a great way too, if you have any fruit trees that you're looking to duplicate, get more out of. This is a great way to get free fruit trees if you can get some propagations done just from your cuttings. You know, trim up your trees for the year or whatever. Pop your cuttings down in the soil. I've accidentally propagated stuff. Oh, you mean Boog from that game? Yeah, the hacking game? Yeah, that one. Oh, that's great. It's pretty good. That's a decent joke. I like it. Where you control people, robots. That's a funny show. What is the name of the kid who is it? Macaulay Culkin's brother that plays the other bird thing on there, the chicken man who was an empath but now isn't. Yeah, he's really funny. Oh my god. I just like when he gets excited in the show. He's like, you know. Oh yeah, there's also Second Best Hospital in the Galaxy. That's a fun show. That's got a whole new season out. I like that one. With Clack and Sleech. Or Slooch. Kieran. Yes, Kieran Culkin. Yeah. He's really funny. He was the one on Scott Pilgrim's, right? Scott Pilgrim's totally bro-tastic dude adventure. With gold coins. And pretty sounds. And blue hair. Scott Pilgrim versus the weird TV show hosts, I think. Are those guys, those actors who look like they should host TV shows? And that girl. And the girl. Who I think played the mom in... Yeah, it's a good movie. Yeah, his character was great. Who was the girl? I think Scott Pilgrim vs. the World. Yeah. Oh, I know. Oh, I know. Does that? Most of the guys look like they should have been on TV. Except for the girl, the crazy girl. She was... I think she played this... Is she the lady who... was the mom in a show called Good Girls? Hang on, I gotta look that up real quick. That's just got me curious, because I feel like she looked just like her. And we saw her in something, and I think that was it. Mae Whitman. No, I don't think so. Oh, yep, that's her. Mae Whitman. She was on Scott Pilgrim. That's her! Huh. That show Good Girls with the chicks, the older moms who are gonna start robbing people, or robbing the grocery store or whatever, where the shady manager works. That was that same lady as the girl she fights in that, or he fights, whatever, in that movie. And it's got Captain Marvel in it. I like her. She plays the guitar in her spare time. Oh! I didn't even remember her from that. Holy heck. Hmm. Cool. I'm going to get quite a few cuttings out of this, which is nice because I have a decent chance of some of these propagating and finally getting my own Chickasaw plum trees or plum bushes. Good thing we got 2 bags of sand. I'm going to have more cuttings than I thought. Alright. Just taking off some leaves because you only want to leave a couple on there at most. Not really doing much, you're just trying to stay alive while we put off some roots. Okay. Into the rooting powder. And into the sand. This one I'm going to be more careful with. When they bend like that in the actual branch, you want to be careful. You don't want to break it under there. So that's good. I'm going to set this down and water this in one more time. Here. Label it. They propagate at different times. That's why I'm not putting a date on here. I don't really, you know, if it propagates, it doesn't matter what the date is that I started it. It's just going to propagate when it propagates or it'll die off. So I'm not too worried about it. I'm not going to measure it or anything. So it's just kind of all over the place as to what could come of that. So I'm not that worried about the date that I started it anyway. This propagating. Alright, so this is kind of a thicker branch that I got it from, so I'm just going to pick my cuttings and go from there. So just removing these little branches that I won't really get much out of. You could try, I mean, that's no hurt in trying, but I've got plenty of larger cuttings to kind of go with, so I'm going to go with that. Oh, another larger branch. I like these. Always useful. I'm just kind of picking a spot where I see that I have plenty of leaf nodes that I've picked to go up under the soil or the sand, and then I'm just kind of picking a cutoff point to start the next one. Pretty decent. And this is honestly, you don't get too much larger than this. When it's ripe, it would turn like a nice pinkish red color, but this is about the size of them, and they're really good. The flesh is kind of tart, kind of bitter. Not the flesh, the skin is kind of tart and bitter. The flesh itself is really sweet. Sorry. So I'm going to remove the lower leafage on here so that we can get it into the sand over here. I'm just pulling it off. You can clip it off. Don't matter. No different. Just be careful to not damage the leaf nodes too much. I literally just pull the leaves off just like that. I don't, do too much to it. I don't want to cause any additional damage or create an area where bacteria or disease could enter my cutting, so on and so forth. I'm going to cut this one off at the top, make it a little bit shorter because I don't need a gigantic cutting or anything. Alright. Looks pretty good. Again, pulling off the lower leafage. I have a little compost. This is what I've been putting all of my leaves and everything else into to go put into my compost pile when I'm done. Because I know that pisses the who off. I don't know if anybody read that article that gardeners are a problem according to the World Health Organization. That was weird. The greenhouse gases, I suppose. from composting. Only we can't compost on that level that, I mean, the majority can't. And I'm just going to pick an ending point because it's very tall. Total methane monster, you got it. This process that's I'm replicating has been occurring for, gosh, ever since forests were a thing, I guess. Must be me. If anybody doesn't know, composting is replicating what happens on the forest floor, where you build up a material of greens and browns, so green grass, green leaves, blah blah blah, with brown bark, brown leaves, dead stuff, so on and so forth. And that breaks down and adds the nutrients back into the soil. That's what composting is based off of. So the methane that the WHO is talking about is very interesting to me. I always just think about the George Carlin skit, I think, where he talks about we're just kind of we're not like killing the earth. We're just making it hard for us to exist, you know. Like the earth is gonna be here. We're the ones that are fucked. You know what I mean? Anyway. Here, man, I've been trying to fight against the forest menace and get rid of them for a long time. Hey, you got it. I'm sorry. You also would normally, like, there's good times and bad times to propagate. Generally speaking, you can do it anytime. Let me not say that you can't. It's just it's not the best time of year to do it. You really want to do it at the end of the year, maybe January, December, February, that time, because the plant is pretty much asleep. It's focusing on root growth then, so the hormones are kind of focused on that at that point in time, and you don't have as much issues with leaf damage situations. Anyway, you get better propagation rates when you do it on dormant cuttings, so the plant that's asleep for the winter and focusing on root growth. But you can still do it anytime. You just, I might not get as many good propagations. That's all. And also, I wasn't sure how to identify this plant without its leaves on there. So, you gotta do what you gotta do. I wish I was that good, but I'm not. Yet, anyway. Oh, it's 5 o'clock. Okay. I don't like that cutting. sit right there. Trim that up a little more. There we go. If any of these, if I get a good propagation off of this, I'm gonna start selling this because it's just hard to get. They're really hard to find now, I think. Soil's getting a little hard to work, so I'm gonna soften it up some. Or dirt, sand, whatever. It'd be very hard to figure out. They get very twiggy, very pokey. I cut off a lot of like spiny pieces. One of the lives that I did, I was showing my propagation of some persimmon tree cuttings that I had taken from a persimmon tree that's actually growing outside of an Asian market up here. And I am happy to report that I do have some new growth coming off of there. So I have at least a couple that have rooted. So I'm going to leave them where they are. They're sitting, you know, out of the shade, out of the sun. They're in the shade, out of the sun, in damp dirt, just like this. The same thing we put them in. And I'm going to leave them there for another 3 to 4 weeks. I'm not really sure. I'm leaving there for a little while until I'm certain that those roots are good. And I'm not going to hurt it. And then I'm going to let the sand kind of dry out a little bit. And then I'll pop it up and up pot it. So really happy to report that I have some propagation. And decent propagation at that. Like, I have some decent growth off of some of these persimmon cuttings, so that's awesome. That is what I want to see. Again, just removing the lower leafage so that we can promote those hormones to send out roots. Oh, this is fun. This is a neat little thing. Another thing that you can tell that this is a part of, I'm not sure if it's because it's a part of the Prunus family or what the deal is, but I think it might be. But along the stem here, you see these little, let's get a pointer. Along the stem here, you see these little things like this, and this, and this, these little nodules, these little points in the bark. Those are called lenticels. They have a name. I don't know their function, but they are called lenticels. So you can find that. I have a black cherry tree growing up that was also a prunus. It also has lenticels. My other cherry tree has lenticels. My plums have lenticels. I think prunus generally tends to have lenticels on them, those markings along their branch. I think. I'm not sure. I'd have to look that up later. But it's very interesting. They're on a... I'm starting to notice them now more. So it's like in my head I'm starting to equate them as like, oh, that produces a fruit of some kind with a stone, you know. Maybe. Most probably. If I see it out in the wild or whatever. Hey! Well, there you go. So maybe they do kind of point to a fruit. That's a decent guess, right? The plant whisperer? Yeah. I hope. I hope. I wanna start a nursery. I wanna open a local nursery where people can come in and pick up native plants or non-native plants, whatever, but fruit trees and vegetables and all that stuff. I want to be like the growers outlet that I went to. That would be so cool. Thank you. Are they predominantly on prunus plants, or are lenticels present on a lot of different tree types? Google them? Yeah. I'd have to Google that too. I don't know. He's a real twiggy guy. This one's already trimmed up really nicely. Okay. A few more to go. Just working my way through the pot here. Birch is the most prevalent, but there are a lot of trees. I guess the black striping you see on. Oh, okay. So those have like large lenticels, I guess. That's cool. Good to know. I didn't know what they were, but that's cool. Yeah, I noticed the when I was trimming up the cherry tree, the weeping cherry tree that we got, the Gabriel tree, that the bark kind of peeled back quite a bit. So that's cool. You can even see it. I don't know if you can really see it in this. Maybe. Let me see. You can kind of see where the bark sort of wants to peel away from it. When it's disturbed, I guess. You know. Ooh. Let me wet that down a little bit more. Make it a little more malleable. There we go. You can all come get your Chickasaw plum trees from Boogley's family-friendly farm. I don't know about that. Family fun farm? I don't know. Something like that. Boogley's Boogie Down Barn. Barney? Oh, it's squirrels chase each other. Jesus, it scared me. Boogley's F. Yeah. Come on down to Boogley's. I'm excited. The black cherry that I found in the back, the fruit on it has started turning. Atsy and I tried some the other day. It's pretty tart. It's black cherry. It's the black cherry flavor. It's where they get the black cherry flavor from. It's a very small fruit that is mostly stone or pit. It's mostly seed, but it was very interesting to try it, and I'm very excited for it to finish fruiting and to go into its dormancy stage so I can get a nice cutting of that, because I'm not worried about that one going anywhere. These plum trees are going, getting cut down faster and faster every year, so I was worried about missing out on that, but so that's why I didn't wait. But the cherry tree, the black cherry tree in the back, I'm very patient. I'm going to wait on that one, and then I'll get some really good cuttings when it's in its dormancy stage. And I'm pretty sure that what I want to do is align that. So I want to do an interspaced fruit barrier lining my driveway. So I'm going to do, I have a plum tree right there right now at the start. And then I want to do a cherry tree, and then another plum tree, and then, or a pear tree, sorry, not plum. And then I want to do blackberries, and if any of these take, then I'll put some of these up there too. But blackberries and pomegranates, and maybe some of these guys interspersed along the bed that's going to surround those trees. I think that'll be really, really pretty. Especially when all the fruit are coming in, because the black cherry tree, I don't know if y'all have ever seen like a picture of those as their fruit is turning, but you have like these strands of green that come off, and then at the ends of these tips are like black and red and green, and it's really pretty and interspersed with these really bright green leaves. It's just very, very pretty. So, and then it's a darker color cherry tree, so the bark is pretty dark. It's really nice looking. It's very, very pretty, and it's a native tree. It's a native cherry tree that, according to arborists, which I am not one, but so oak is exceptionally important to your native habitat for the animals and everything else. Oak is like the #1 tree for native habitats. The cherry tree, especially that one, this is a very thick branch, so I'm making sure I got a hole in here, is like second best behind the oak. I didn't know that. Oh. I gotta retrim its end. Hey you, what are you doing? little anole or whatever they're called. Okay, we'll go right there. Oh, I agree. You should have an entire side game, like a side game where you gotta figure this stuff out and do this kind of stuff. That'd be great. Oh, I gotta propagate all my plants today, sorry. Or I got the... Dang, I have to dig this out. I got the best potions and stuff because my blah 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 grew, and that'd be great. There we go. Little lizards everywhere running all over my tent. They get busy, okay? Okay. Oh. I got a little confused on this because I wasn't sure which way was the top or the bottom. But I know that the way that the prunus grows is that its leaves come up and out. Like, up and out. So I know that if I hold it like this, the leaves are growing down, and that's definitely wrong. And if I hold it like this, they're going the right way. So that's only for some plants, though, because the leaves can grow on every which way on multiple different plants. So this is just for prunus and other ones that, you know, fall into that category. I really want to take like a real like herbalism type course and just learn about my native like medicinal plants, sorry. I know some of them and I can identify some of them, but there's, you know, the Georgia or University of Georgia extension, at least last year, I don't know if it still does because that was through USDA, but offered courses that took you out into the, you know, forest and everything and walked you through and told you about all the plants that you could get and the mushrooms and blah blah blah, all that stuff. I think that'd be fun. I don't want to do it alone. Not that I'd have to. I mean, Nate would go if I asked him to, but he really does not like that outdoorsy type stuff. I know most people don't. I don't mind. But maybe I can convince one of my friends to go sign up with me. We'll see. I mean, all this free time that I have for it is, you know, also a consideration. Oh, yeah. This is what the little pokey things that come off of there, they look like thorns, and they poke you like it when you're going to get these branches. I've removed most of its pokies, but can't get all of them all the time. But anyway, when you're out foraging for these in the winter time, it's mostly just branches and that stuff. Well, I know you could be convinced. I just know that you don't generally like that stuff, and I wouldn't want to convince you to come out into the sun in the middle, in, you know, in the summer when you don't really like that. That's no good. That's no bueno. I know that you would, though. I'm fully aware that if I asked you to do it, you would do it. That's not the point. At least you're not as bad as Churd. Like, Churd said that when he goes to the beach, he just stays inside the hotel or whatever. Like, at least you come sit in the tent with me. Damn it. Keep breaking those. Alright, let me not do that anymore. I don't really want to put a bend in them. This is getting annoying to work with right now. Alright. It's warming up, so everything's getting sticky. Settle. Churd is the worst. Churd is not the worst. Leave Churd alone. We gotta have like a cookout. When I get my garden going and I have all this food that in my head I swear I'm gonna actually get to grow one day. We gotta have like a big old garden harvest party. That's what I want to do. I want to have a field party. Only I don't have a field, but I do have a thing that we could set on fire. So that's fun. I don't know if y'all went to field parties. That was all I had around me when I was in high school. But anyway. Some people went to raves. I drank beer around a bonfire. Yeah, I think it would be fun. Really. I mean, that time of year, it's nice and fall crisp out here. Like, we do have the best falls and the best springs that you've ever seen. They're just perfectly temperatured. And, man. You get corn, collards, squash, onions, all kinds of stuff. I gotta try and get this mamma jamma into here. It is a thick branch and I have been fighting with the sand. Okay. I got this. I got this. And I don't have to make a whole nother tub. I thought that 3 was gonna be enough. I was very wrong. I've got some space in here at least. We can get everybody. We can get Pro and Churd and Tree and everybody. Where you will all sleep, I don't know. Maybe somebody can sleep in the library. And then somebody can sleep in my office. You know, I have tents. We're good. I have tents. We're good. You know when I'm silly. We're good. Okay, that's it. That's all my Chickasaw plum cuttings. Oh my gosh, I can't believe I got through all of them. I'm so happy. I've been trying to get a hold of these for years now, and I almost didn't get these because they literally got mowed down within the 12 hours it took me to work my ass out there. Like, that was wild. I almost started crying. It was a whole thing. Anyway. I did find these. I had to climb up into a thicket, though, and if you've never done that, I can show you the cuts and bruises on my arms and legs, but it's okay. We move on. We got these cuttings now. I'm so excited! And I just really hope that I get some plum trees. I just really love these plums. They're very good. They make really... I would love to make a mead out of them. Oh my gosh, that sweet, sweet flesh. Oh boy. We just have to get the skin off, but the skin peels away from the flesh really easy. The flesh sticks to the pit more than anything. So, we'll have to remember that, Nate. Also, I just invited the whole guild out to our house at some point. I don't know when. You should know that too. Maybe this is how Pro and them just randomly show up. Okay, let me get another container for these apple tree cuttings because I do want to try and propagate. This is an Arkansas black apple tree. Excuse me, that I got from the Growers Outlet LLC. That's in Loganville, Georgia. If you're around here and you want to look them up. They also have a website. They have excellent prices. They're only open portions of the year, so they're open through the spring and the fall in Georgia because those are our planting seasons. We have a very, very hot and dry summer if it's not storming, so it's very hard to plant during the summer. So I'm kind of coming up to the end of my planting season personally, but I can grow throughout the entire season. I don't have to stop. It just gets more and more difficult as time goes on. But anyway, so I got the apple tree put into the ground. It's good to go. It's growing now. It's looking good. But these are the cuttings that I took off of it from when I planted it. I wanted to keep these guys. They look pretty decent, and I can try and propagate some new apple trees off of this one. So that's also the fun thing with cuttings. You just wind up keeping them, and you can... I've had these in the fridge for about a week and a half now. They're still looking vibrant. You know, I just kept them. I kept this paper towel moist. I had this wrapped up in here, taped together, and then I had it inside this bag entirely so that the moisture couldn't escape. And hopefully we'll get some apple trees off of these cuttings. I roll them out my little tools. It's funny. So let me get a pot with some sand in it, and we'll get started with that. Too large. Whoops. Calm down over there. And to stop the sand from running out entirely, there's the bottom. All these cardboard pieces I have for my cat foods. That'll cover those holes quite well. Took a little bit of drainage. Hey, yo, what's up, Pro? Oh, you were in here earlier. But I said at some point, I'm going to be growing all the food that in my head I think I can do, you know. I'm struggling to get done. Anyway, at that point, I want to invite people out for like a harvest party. We can do a bonfire. And you can sleep in my library or something. Just, yeah. Anyway. How's your day been? Right at the bottom, just like that. Try and stop that sand from escaping. Everything is sand. Oh God. Oh boy. Well, is the day over now at least? Do you get a couple hours of rest before you gotta do it all again? Because we got a raid later. Because tonight is raid night. That's good. Man. After raid tonight, last night I was going through some stuff that I had. I found some Dr. Teal's mint with hemp seed oil or whatever. I'm going to be taking me a soak. Let that stress just leave. Okay. So these are my apple cuttings. Let me go ahead and label these. And then I'll wait till I water them in to put the label in. So these are Arkansas, or Arkansas apple tree. I'm really, really pleased with my cuttings. They are Chickasaw Plum cuttings are the one thing that I just really, really, really wanted for years now, and I finally got them. Alright. Maintain a decent amount of moisture here. So let me retrim this tip a little bit. There we go. Get that green exposed. So that's your green cadmium layer. So that's where we're gonna put some rooting powder now. And again, you have a chance to grow roots out of leaf nodes. So where a leaf can grow out is a leaf node. There's a node. That's the thing that can possibly grow roots when you're propagating. So that's what you're trying to get into the, you want to get as many of these into the soil as you can to give an option to try and grow that root out. Because what's going to happen is the plant is going to send a hormone down because I've damaged these nodes. It's going to send a hormone down and says, hey, you should repair that. And when it gets down there and it sees that it's dark, it's going to give it an option and say, hey, well, you can repair it, or you could be a root. And we're hoping that it chooses to be a root. That's what we're trying to promote here, basically. So, rooting powder is just called Take Root. You can get it at Lowe's or anywhere else. I'm just going to pop that guy down. Leave me a couple of nodes above the soil here. And leave them in the fridge also. So that's another one. You can see this one's still quite a bit green. It's much greener than the Chickasaw plums that I was looking at because they were not kept in the fridge. They were not kept in the very best conditions. It's okay though. I'm still going to be cutting up and exposing them a little bit more. So, all the same. Rooting powder into the sand. With only a leaf or two. Oh boy. Bad day, huh? What do they do? Are they... Huh. Is that the... I wonder if you're getting throttled or something. Or not throttled, but, I wonder if the central system, the D-SLAM or whatever they call it now, is overloaded. Because it's like, at this time of day, it's just usually that a lot of people are getting online, right? That's what it used to be anyway. I don't know. One time a car up the road slammed into our internet shit. That was pretty funny. It went out for a while. Who do you have internet with? This is a good tester one. Oh, okay. Yep. This is a tester one. I have taken off all of the leaves on this one, and instead I'm just going to treat it like a dormant cutting. So we'll see how it does. Well, hopefully they'll get it fixed soon. Dang. Spectrum. Oh, yeah. Sounds about right. They always advertise out here, and then I make sure to mention to my neighbors that, or whoever they're advertising to, that I have AT&T fiber, because Spectrum is like that sometimes. But I don't think I gotta tell anybody. AT&T's all over the place out here now. I always see their trucks out and about. They're fibering up the area. This is a nice tester one too. This is a green leaf, or green new cutting. Hi, Noli. What's up? Hi. You want to come over here? Let's see. Maybe I can show you a lizard. Come back. You want to climb? Would you climb? It's okay. No. It's okay. Good. Good. You did good. Good girl. I believe this is a girl, according to what Sarah has taught me. Hang on. Oh, you leaped into... There it is. Oh, no. Very good. Well, there we go. And just leaped all the way over and back up. It leaped right into the apple thing. I know it made it into the shot at one point. That's funny. Anyway. Huh? So. Alright, this is my other apple pudding. I am surrounded by those little anole lizards. They are so active out here. I think they're called anoles. I think that's what she called them. My friend Sarah knows a lot about those compared to me. I do not. But I think they're very cute. And they like stick out, like they get excited, and like the boy ones, the green ones, their red throat thing comes out. Right. Yeah. Oh yeah. Apparently, my lizard ways entice them. They do that throat thing a lot. Yeah. You got competition with garden lizards. So, that's rough. I don't know what to say. I'm gonna stop talking, actually. They Enolean around. Yeah. Alright, last one. This was also a first year new branch. That's also kind of a tester to see whether the hardwood or the greenwood propagates better. We'll find out. It's always a question. You just don't know sometimes until you figure it out yourself. Alright. Last one. Alright. Arkansas Black Apple Tree. Propagation station complete. So let me water this in. I'll slide in its name tag. So the plum trees, I don't know if anybody saw, the Chickasaw Plum Tree that I was doing, it produces a fruit that's about this size. This is one of them that's not ripe yet. They turn into a nice, like, pink, bright red, fleshy fruit when they're done. They're very good. I'm going to water this in real good. Also stop the sand from moving so much. I don't want to lose all of it. Sand is very, very fine, and it will fall out the bottom of your pots. So I do have some protections in there. It won't stop everything, but watering it in is a good way to get it to kind of settle. So I'm setting this under my table here that I'm working on. That's where these are going to go. Yeah, like a plum grape. I would agree with that. It's going to stay out of sunlight until I see propagation. And when I do see propagation, so propagation I'm looking for is new growth coming out of any of the leaf nodes. Not what's already here, but any new growth. So once I start to see that, it's going to continue to stay in this pot out of the sun for another 3 to 4 weeks. Sorry. It'll stay out of the sun for another 3 to 4 weeks. And then once I am confident that its roots are actually taking off and this isn't, something that's going to fall apart the second that I try to up-pot it, I will pull it out and get it its own pot, and we can hopefully by next year, the year after, have a nice apple tree. And the good thing about, the thing that I really like about propagation is that this apple tree has the ability to fruit now that I cut it from. It is a 4 or 5 year old tree that those cuttings came from, and it can fruit. I saw the other ones fruiting at the place that I got it from. So because I am cloning the plant, I'm taking the exact genetic DNA of the plant that's already there. I'm not starting from seed, which is a new plant, new genetic DNA. I'm cloning the current one. These cuttings, once they take off and they do put on root, they will have the ability also to fruit up in their first year of getting planted. They will have the option. You shouldn't let them. They'll be too small. It could break the branches, but that's the other really, really neat thing about propagating, is that you do just have the option to get fruit like immediately, because you're cloning the genetics there. So let me get my my persimmon. So this is the one from my first live here, if you recall. This is my persimmon that has propagated. This is all new growth off of this one twig that had nothing on it. I took all the leaves off of this one, didn't leave anything on here, and it has propagated. This is new growth coming out of it. It's very vigorous new growth, which is double thumbs up. This one has new growth, which is that one. It's not very good yet. It's not very vigorous, but so far I'm happy with it. This one, I don't know if you can tell, I'm not going to try and lift it up that high, but this one has new growth coming out of here and here. This one has new growth coming out of here. So it's very tiny. You have to get in, get very intimate with it. You have to look for these little light green buds that are just barely coming off. Sorry. This one has new growth coming off of right here and here. So very tiny little green nodules that tell me that it's taken off. And I'm very happy with it. I'm sorry that Twitch Mobile isn't great. Wait, are you talking about, is my phone not getting good video, or like watching it on your phone? That's a good question, I guess. I'll figure that out later. I have a camera actually for upstairs when I start doing the game cleaning and stuff. I have a nifty little camera to use up there. Anyway, that's my persimmon propagation. I can tell that some of these have died off. Like, I can just feel that they've died off. But that's okay. I'm going to wait until everything has propagated or not before I start pulling them out. This has got another couple of weeks to sit here before I feel that this growth is good enough to remove it. Okay. Okay, good to know. I'll take that leaf off. Oh, very good. This has new growth right there. Awesome. I actually have quite a few propagated persimmons here, which is wonderful. Oh, it keeps stopping and starting again. Oh, I hope it's not mine. Dang. Well, if it is, let me know. Oh, okay. Well, these are my cherry trees that definitely did not come from a post office. They have propagated. This is new growth. This is new growth. This is new growth. This is new growth. New growth. New growth. They are doing excellent. They are doing fantastic. I'm going to have plenty of those wonderful Yashira cherry trees that go to post offices. I don't know how I got that. This propagation took a really long time, and it's going to have me rethink how I approach figs in general. Figs are kind of annoying to propagate, I guess. But I have gotten one successful little propagation off of this guy. That's wonderful. Out of all the little fig ones that I planted, I didn't really know too much about. I knew like the very, very intro basics when I started propagating on those. So I have definitely expanded upon my knowledge about it since then. So I'll probably have to redo the figs again next year. But at least I got one. I've gotten one so far, and I'm happy with one. If I could just get one Chickasaw Plum, I'd be ecstatic. I'm trying to think any propagation stuff right now. Crepe myrtles are still propagating just fine. I gotta up-pot them soon. And I think that's about it. Give me 1 second and I will show you how I kind of document, at least a little bit, some of this stuff into a... Oh, okay. So I can kind of keep track of what permanent garden plants I have, because you have your trees, your perennials, your annuals. So perennial means it comes back year after year. Annual means that it's only here for a time or once a year. You have biannuals, which come back, twice a year. There's a lot going on there. So I try to keep track of all my permanent or perennial or trees or anything like that. So let me go get my little book here and I'll kind of show you what I write down about them. This is my permanent garden journal because I'm extra as hell. I am extra. When I go all out, when I think something's worth my time, I put time and effort into it. You know what I mean? So when I buy something beautiful like my garden journal, I want it to be beautiful and show that same love and time and appreciation that I put into it. So this is how I do it. This is about my blueberries. This is the last one that I did, or completed anyway. I keep photos in here. This is a delphinium. If you've ever heard of those, they're very beautiful flowers. Okay. So I have two types of blueberries in my garden right now. I have a sunshine blue. Oh, you can't see that. I have a sunshine blue and a high bush. So their scientific name is Vicinium. I have what type of sun they like, what type of pH they like, what type of soil, their family name, which is Ericaceae. And then I'll do the same thing for peach. I've doodled out where peach is supposed to go, and I'll fill that out. Passion flower. I take photos to kind of keep track of how my plants are doing, how I plant them. So this is how I planted the apple tree. I put down soil, planted the tree, surrounded the bed with cardboard, and then covered the cardboard with mulch so that the cardboard can break down over time, and the roots and the feeder roots, especially off of this tree, can reach out over into this mulch area, and eventually they'll get to the soil once the cardboard fully breaks down. But that's what I use instead of landscape fabric. I interlace cardboard, and I always use that instead. I just think I don't like to get any microplastics or anything into the environment. That's how I do it. Everybody has their own way of doing it, so I like to keep track of that kind of stuff. And glamour shots, blah, blah, blah. I am working on the banana entry. So this is how I planted the banana tree again. Planted it down into the soil. Surrounded it by cardboard in a nice square pattern because I thought that looked really good. And then covered that up. So it's called a banana or ice cream banana. It's called a blue java. Sorry. Blue java or an ice cream banana. The family name is Musaceae. Musaceae. This is a hybrid of Musa balbisiana and Musa acuminata. The genus name, so Musa, honors Antonio Musa, a Roman physician. It's from the 1st century BC, so I thought that was really neat to know. I didn't know that they did that for bananas. These are my entries for blackberries, artichokes, Chicago hardy figs, all the information about them that I have, just so I can keep it on mind in case I ever wonder, like, oh, when did I do this, or how do I do that? And I write down dates and everything in here, so that's just one way to keep track of everything. I highly recommend it for if you're setting up a garden that's going to have a lot of perennial or permanent fixtures. You really do you want to keep track of them. You are going to forget. I know that you think you're going to remember forever and ever and ever and ever and ever. You're going to forget eventually. If you're getting enough of them, you're going to just, eventually they're going to all meld into one, and you're going to be like, oh wait, was this my sunshine blue blueberry, or is this my high bush blueberry? And I can kind of tell by the flavor now, but when I'm propagating or trimming down or getting right, I need to know which one is which for sure. So I just think it's very useful to keep track of that kind of stuff. Anyway, so that's where I'm kind of going to wrap it up. Thanks for watching, and let's see what kind of blueberries. Exactly. You got it. You have figured it out. So we got raid in 2 hours. I'm not looking forward to that. Freaking I'll be back then. Alright, I'm gonna cut it here. Cool. Or maybe I can say, hang on. Let's see. Okay, it's kind of a mess here. Okay, no. Alright. Hey. Alright, thanks for watching, y'all. Have a good one.